The night I asked the woman I loved to marry me. She didn't cry. She laughed. Then she looked at the engagement ring I'd spent 18 months saving for and humiliated me in front of an entire restaurant. 5 years later, she walked into a boardroom begging for money, without realizing the man sitting across the table was me. For a moment, I thought she was overwhelmed with happiness. I'd spent almost a year and a half working overtime, skipping vacations, and saying no to everything I wanted just so I could afford that ring. It wasn't the most expensive one in the store, but every dollar in it represented love, sacrifice, and a future I believed we were building together. Olivia finally spoke. "Ethan," she sighed, "please tell me this isn't the actual ring." I laughed nervously, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. Her eyes never left the small diamond. Instead of seeing the years of sacrifice behind it, she only saw the price tag she imagined it carried. She gently took the ring from my hand. For one beautiful second, I thought she was about to say yes. I even imagined slipping it onto her finger. Then she slowly picked up her wine glass, looked directly into my eyes, and everyone around us became strangely quiet. Without saying a word, she dropped the ring into her wine glass. The tiny splash echoed louder than the conversations around us. Then she slid the glass back across the table and smiled. "When you can afford a woman like me, come back." I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt empty. The restaurant had gone completely silent. Every eye was on us. I stared at the ring resting at the bottom of the wine glass. 18 months of overtime. Birthdays I skipped. Weekends I spent working instead of resting. All sitting beneath a layer of red wine. I still couldn't believe the woman I loved had turned the happiest night of my life into my worst memory. Before I could say another word, a man walked across the restaurant with the confidence of someone who already knew how the night would end. He wrapped an arm around Olivia's shoulders as if it belonged there. "Everything okay?" he asked with a smirk. Olivia smiled back. "It's handled." My stomach dropped. This wasn't a coincidence. Ryan looked at the ring still floating inside the wine glass and let out a quiet laugh. "You were actually going to marry her with that?" he asked. Olivia didn't defend me. Instead, she shook her head and said, "Ethan has a good heart. But love doesn't pay for the life I want." Her words hurt more than Ryan's laughter ever could. I reached into the glass and picked up the ring. The waiter quietly handed me a clean napkin without saying a word. I wiped it dry, closed the ring box, and slipped it into my pocket. I didn't chase after Olivia. I didn't argue with Ryan. Some battles are already lost the moment someone stops valuing you. As I walked home that night, I made one promise to myself. I would never again measure my worth by someone else's opinion. If I ever became successful, it wouldn't be to make Olivia regret leaving me. It would be because I deserved a better future than the one she'd imagined for me. Looking back now, that was the most important promise I ever kept. The first year after the breakup was brutal. I worked my engineering job during the day and spent almost every night teaching myself advanced design software and business management. There were nights I questioned whether any of it mattered, but every time I thought about giving up, I remembered the engagement ring sitting in my desk drawer. It reminded me that my future would never again depend on someone else's approval. 3 years later, I created software that helped construction companies reduce project costs and avoid expensive mistakes. At first, nobody believed a small startup could compete with established companies. Then the results started speaking for themselves. One contract became 10, 10 became 50. My business grew because I solved real problems, not because I chased revenge. While I was building something from the ground up, Olivia was living the glamorous life she'd always wanted. Together with Ryan, she launched a luxury cosmetics brand that looked incredibly successful from the outside. Social media showed glamorous events, expensive vacations, and magazine interviews. To everyone watching, they seemed unstoppable. But appearances can be deceiving. Behind the polished advertisements and smiling interviews, the company was quietly bleeding money. Ryan insisted everything was under control. "We just need one major investor," he kept saying. Olivia believed him because she'd already tied her future to his promises. She didn't realize how close everything was to falling apart. 5 years after that rooftop proposal, I accepted an invitation to become a partner at one of the country's fastest growing investment firms. My job wasn't to rescue struggling businesses out of sympathy. It was to invest in companies with strong leadership and honest foundations. I had no idea my next meeting would bring me face to face with someone I'd spent years trying to forget. Ryan adjusted his tie and smiled confidently. "This is it," he whispered. "Once they approve this investment, we'll have enough capital to save the company." Olivia nodded, trying to hide how nervous she felt. Their debts were growing, suppliers wanted payment, and this meeting was their last real chance to keep the business alive. The conference room doors slowly opened. I didn't look up immediately. I was finishing the financial report in front of me. "Good morning," I said without raising my eyes. "Please, have a seat." Then I looked up and instantly recognized the woman standing in the doorway. 5 years had passed, but I'd never forgotten that night on the rooftop. Olivia's face turned pale. Her confident smile vanished. She wasn't looking at a desperate man holding an engagement ring anymore. She was looking at the lead investor responsible for deciding whether her company survived. Ryan glanced between us, sensing something was wrong, but having no idea why. For a few awkward seconds, nobody spoke. Finally, I broke the silence. "Good morning, Miss Bennett. Mr. Cole." My voice never changed. "You have 30 minutes. Please present your proposal." Olivia opened her laptop, but her hands trembled so badly she almost dropped it. I wasn't there for revenge. I was there to do my job. Ryan gave the presentation with all the confidence in the world. He spoke about future growth, expanding into international markets, and why their company deserved millions in funding. I listened carefully, but the numbers told a very different story. Revenue was falling, debt was climbing. Their business wasn't struggling because of bad luck. It was struggling because it had been built on promises instead of solid decisions. Ryan finished his presentation and confidently smiled. "That's everything," he said. The room fell silent. Every executive slowly turned toward me. As the lead investment partner, the final recommendation was mine. One decision would determine whether their company survived or collapsed. I closed the report and looked directly at Ryan. "Your marketing is impressive," I began. "Your products are good." Ryan smiled, thinking he'd already won. Then I continued. "But your leadership is reckless. Your debt is growing faster than your revenue, and your financial projections rely on hope instead of evidence. We don't invest in hope, we invest in discipline." The board unanimously agreed with my recommendation. The meeting was over. As I walked toward the door, Olivia called my name for the first time in 5 years. Her voice wasn't confident anymore. It was desperate. "Ethan, please, can we talk?" I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small black velvet box. When I opened it, the same engagement ring was inside. "Do you know where I kept it?" I asked. Olivia quietly shook her head. "Not because I was waiting for you," I said, "but because it reminds me that the value of love can never be measured by the price of a ring." Tears rolled down her face as she realized she traded something priceless for something temporary. I closed the ring box, placed it back into my pocket, and walked away. I didn't need revenge. Life had already delivered the lesson neither money nor success could erase. Some people lose the greatest thing they'll ever have because they spend too much time chasing something that only looks valuable. And once trust is gone, not even all the money in the world can buy it back. Some people don't lose love because they're unlucky. They lose it because they mistake price for value. Another story has been sealed inside the Vindictive Archive. If this story made you think, subscribe and tell us in the comments. If you were Ethan, would you have given Olivia a second chance? Until the next entry, the archive remains open. Vindictive Archive.